Welcome back, guys, to the Futbal Biz podcast. As always, I am Grayson Mortimer. He's Evan McGuire, and it's been a couple weeks. A lot has happened. We've just had busy schedules, and then my laptop was just absolutely terrible last week. So
Oh yeah.
we had to unfortunately postpone. But now we're back. Hopefully, no technical difficulties today. But let's get right into it. So the Premier League is officially back. We did obviously have the international break as a bit of a layoff, hence we've made the Champions League episode. But it started off pretty convincingly for Man City, who have won their sixth straight. They beat West Ham 3-1 last week and then did win 2-0 over Nottingham Forest. The big takeaway, though, is that Rodri was stupidly sent off. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking there. As a City fan, I was quite disappointed in him after this, just because of the chokehold. If there's one thing that you don't do, it's a chokehold because you're basically a guarantee to get sent off every time. And he did that. He's now going to face a 3-game ban, which one of the games is against Arsenal, I believe. So this could potentially hurt a bit.
Yeah, don't really know what he was thinking there. Like, man pretty much was like having him choke at him. It was just pretty much like Homer with Bart pretty much in The Simpsons just going, "Oh, you little." Like
Yeah,
it's just
essentially.
on yeah, it's just so unnecessary. Like when I seen it, I was like, "Oh man, that is just not what you're meant to do. You don't put your hands at least above here like on a player. That's just direct red."
Yeah. I mean, it was really brief, but even then, like the intent was still there, the
Yeah.
movement was still there, and the whole thing was still there. I agree with the decision, like easily. And I think most City fans have as well. Most of the comments I've seen are like, dude, we're still angry at you right now. Like Rodri's one of the pivotal pieces of City's team. He's one guy that even more so than Kevin De Bruyne, I think City might
Mm.
notice the absence of.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
say that as well.
like
Yeah, like
he's outside of maybe Ederson, he's I think the most important player in the team because of how much defensive work he does, and he does offer a lot going forward with his passing play as well. So it's going to be a big loss. Naturally, I would assume Calvin Phillips is going to start the next 3 games, which oh my god, that would be such a downgrade. But
yeah, that's crazy.
um,
You finally get some playing time
he
then.
he might. We'll see. Or they could just potentially play Stones there, which I think he's coming back from injury, so maybe not. But
Yeah.
yeah, Phillips finally might get some important minutes, so we shall see on that front. But City still did get the win over Forest. They really weren't in the game. Holland scored again. He has missed a lot of chances. He doesn't look super confident right now, but even then, he's still got 8 goals in 6 games, which is a ridiculous statistic. So can't really be too mad about that. But yeah, I definitely do think that he could have even more now. I mean, West Ham, especially that game, he just was missing chance after chance after chance, and it was really frustrating. And then he finally scored.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I agree with that.
so yeah,
Him missing Kevin De Bruyne, it does bring a big factor into his game. Like he still is well capable of scoring goals. We all know that, but getting those like clear assists from De Bruyne, it helps a lot. Obviously, it's one of the main go-tos for Man City.
it is. Yeah, and it's very noticeable that he is missing him. But even then, he still has 8 goals in 6 games. So
Yeah.
um, it's still a very favorable tally for him. But that's all I think I really need to say about that. We'll move on to your team. Liverpool did win 3-1 over West Ham and over Wolves within the past couple weeks. Both convincing wins. They did have to come from behind against Wolves as well as in the Europa League. We'll talk about that later. Um, Overall, they looked really good. Darwin Nunez scored an absolute cracking volley against West Ham, and West Ham's a good team, so this is a good win. Obviously, City beat them last week as well, but West Ham is a solid outfit, so good win for Liverpool on this one.
Yeah, like I'm actually like starting to believe again that we're actually back. Like again, I wasn't really feeling it like beforehand. I'm like, we have a good few wins up our sleeves, but like I still need to see more. But these past couple weeks, I'm starting to believe that we actually could be back in a title race. The whole city pool phrase. It was only gone for a season, but looks like we're back on. So I couldn't be more pleased myself. And I guess it's seemingly, 3-1 is a love story, I guess now. We just love a 3-1 win.
That's
What
fair.
else can I say?
Your last
Uh,
three
I
games have all been 3-1.
Yeah. I will say this though, Dominic Sabazai, oh, he's so underrated. He is absolutely class. He just comes right into this midfield and just makes it his own. And even then, like you said about Darwin, he is finally living up to the hype. He's actually competing with Haaland now, honestly, for goal contributions. It's amazing. I do not know what the stats are. I believe it's he has 4 goals or like 4 assists or something like that in like 5 starts, which is just unreal. Unreal.
Yeah, no, he's been really good. He's finally coming into his own. I think the midfield shift has definitely helped him. I mean, the pass from McAllister that set him up for that volley was really good. Yeah, and he's finally showing what we know what he can do. Is he Holland's level? Still no. I mean, what Holland is doing is just unseen. But I don't think it's unrealistic to say Nunez can easily score 20 goals this season. I mean, and for that
I'd be happy
in
with
a
that.
Liverpool team that was lacking that type of production last year, you'll take that every day of the week, outside of Mo Salah, of course. But yeah, no, 20 goals out of Nunez, I think, is a realistic objective. And if he hits that, I think that's a really good season for him. So yeah, no, definitely happy to see that. I do think that he will need to play like that every week if they have a chance in the title. Obviously, Liverpool haven't lost yet either, with the one draw, but I mean, they're 5 wins. So yeah, I predicted Liverpool to get second at the beginning of the year, and so far that's looking really good. So I do think they will get second. I just think City, even without Rodri, is going to be borderline unstoppable. But I do think that there's a chance that the Liverpool could easily creep into that conversation.
Yeah, no, I agree. Top four, realistically. It seems like, we will more than likely get that. I will be happy if we do, get second again, but overall, like right now, I just think if we can keep challenging, keep chipping away, by the time we have to play Man City, we could definitely be in a title race. And who knows, we could even, finally get over that hump and win our, second Premier League title in, I think, what is it? Just about
About 3 years
3, 4 years? Yeah, 3, 4
before,
years,
yeah.
which I will be absolutely satisfied with if we can do that. But,
City
still a
have won the
long way to
last
go.
City have won the last three, and yes, there is a long way to go, of course, but you guys won it in what would have been 1920. So
Yeah.
20, 21, 21, 22, and 22, 23 were all won by Man City. Um, so yeah, first one in 4 years if you guys are able to win, but there still are 32 games left of the season, so
Yeah, and we do
long
have
way to go.
Tottenham. We do have Tottenham next as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, when City goes to Tottenham Stadium, that's just an automatic L. Pep just can't seem to win in that stadium. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But moving on from that one, we will move on to the one of the biggest games of the weekend, and it is Newcastle against Sheffield United. Uh, the game ended 8-0. I mean,
Unreal.
8-0.
Unreal.
Sheffield was home as well. Newcastle were the away team in this fixture, and the game ended 8-0. Sheffield
Madness.
United should hang their heads in shame because that is an unacceptable result on basically every count. Uh,
Bottom of
you're,
the
you're
table.
you're playing in the Premier League. You got promoted last year. Like, come on, Sheffield. Is your defense that bad? Like, Newcastle's a good team. Don't get me wrong, but like 8-0, 8-0 is just horrible. Like, you can't do that. You can't be doing that. Sheffield are just they're just bad. They're not. I have not seen anything from this team that says we're gonna stay up. I think they're going right back down to the championship this season. I get we're only 6 games in. A lot can happen. There's a lot of talk that Heckingbottom's gonna get fired for Chris Wilder to come back in. But even if that happens, I don't think they're gonna win. I don't think they're gonna stay up. I think they're absolutely screwed.
Yeah, really, it looks like all the newly promoted teams could be going back down at this rate because you got Sheffield now at the bottom. I believe Burnley is 19th. Yeah, they are. And then Luton. Yikes. All just having a point right now. Not good, especially if you look back at even last year's table. I can't remember the specific stats, but let me just say the teams that were in the bottom, they had a much better point tally compared to now. Like it is unreal.
Yeah, for sure. I did have some faith in Burnley. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Burnley was gonna be better, but they just haven't been. They have faced some tough teams, to be fair to them, but they're not showing the flashes that I thought they would. I think if one team can put it together out of these three, I think it is Burnley. I know you favor Luton, but Luton
Yeah.
just they've looked really bad. I mean, they couldn't win against Wolves this weekend. Wolves are another team that a lot of people are talking about bottom five. I think with legit cause. Wolves, I don't think are very good either, but I think they're better than these teams that we're seeing now. Wolves have at least had a win this season. So I definitely think that we could see for the first time in a while the three promoted teams all just going back down. But still a lot of season to play. A lot can still
Yeah,
happen. But
absolutely.
early signs have said these guys are in trouble. So not good for Sheffield.
And let me just add one thing to that too. We could also maybe see, I don't want to like, overreact, but could we see some of these teams maybe go for the historical worst point tally and break Derby's record? We need to watch out for that.
Yeah, I'm not going to put it past them. I believe Derby had. I want to say
Eight. I
it
think it
was
was
eight.
eight, or it was either 8 or 11.
I thought it was 11, but I do think that we could potentially see one of these teams have it. They're all just that bad. I do think that that there's a chance that that record is broken, unfortunately, and that's not a record that any team wants to have. They were that because that Derby team, as we know, was
Oh yeah.
abysmal. They
And
were
let me
they
just
were
point out it
horrible.
was 11 points. It was 11 points. Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe that even they started off with a better points tally than any of these three. So
Yeah.
yeah, early signs not good. I believe in Vincent Company as the manager more than the other two. Rob Edwards hasn't looked good. Heckingbottom's looked worse. I think they're going to be the first two managers that get sacked. I just think that's what's going to happen. They both look just way out of their depth.
Yeah, like sure, Sean Dyche now won't even get a sack because he's now picked up a win, so they'll be happy with that. But we'll get to
Yeah,
that soon enough.
we will. Yeah, we got a North London derby to discuss first. So Arsenal did play Tottenham this past weekend, and the winners of this game were Man City and Liverpool because they tied. Arsenal looked really good for the earlier half of the game, but Tottenham, as the second half went on, were easily the better team. And it's clear that James Madison took and One Son took the celebrations from Bukayo Saka personally because
Oh
right
yeah.
after he scored both times, well, the first one was an own goal, but it was off of his shot. Both times that he scored, they immediately just Tottenham just came right back down the field and scored right after it. Both times were Son, assisted by James Madison. So Tottenham, honestly, this season they look like the real deal. I think that Ange Ball is clicking. They have a different look in their team without Harry Kane, of course, but they look really good. Son is firing in all cylinders. Madison looks like one of the best playmakers of the season. Uh, Extremely underrated transfer that one. I think that 40 million for a phenomenal playmaker is just, especially because he's English and this market is insane. He's looked phenomenal. I picked him up in my FPL. That's worked out so far. And yeah, I definitely think that Tottenham are a legit team, and this is a better point for them than it is for Arsenal.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with that. Tottenham have come out swinging this season. We've had to see them in the past, play pretty well at first, and then they kind of dwindle out. But it appears like they actually do mean business this season. And I'm actually, wondering how we'll actually go having to travel to, London and play them next, as Liverpool have to play them. But no, what else do I have to say about James Madison? I've mentioned this before. He's already looking like he is the signing of the season so far. I mean, he's just come into Tottenham and he's just made it his own. Absolutely unreal. That assist to Heung-min Son, sublime. Ugh, just class.
Yeah,
All I really have to say about that.
yeah, for sure. And I definitely think that early signs would say that. Yeah, I think him and James Ward-Prowse, I would say, are probably the two front runners in my book right now. Ward-Prowse has been a transformational signing for West Ham. He's really added an element to their team, especially on set pieces. So I do think that it'll be one of them at the end of the season if they, of course, if they're permitting, they stay healthy. But yeah, I mean, they've looked really good, and I think that win over Sheffield they had last weekend, the 2-1, where they just left it absolutely late with Richarlison and Kulusevski scoring in stoppage
Yeah.
time. I think that win is actually a bigger statement than the Arsenal win. Do Sheffield United suck? Oh yeah, they're horrible, but Tottenham in the past, I think, folds in that game. I don't think they keep the fight that deep into the game and win. I mean, Richarlison, obviously, he spoke out that he had mental health struggles, and I support him there, but that doesn't excuse the fact that he's been a useless bin bag for this team. It was good to see him assist and score. I do think that was something that he needed, and
Yeah, he needed it for
maybe he'll be
sure.
able to kick on from that point on.
Yeah, no, I agree. He definitely did need that. Again, Tottenham usually Tottenham, but they did in that time. They actually came back and won it. So, it is a statement in a way to say, they aren't gonna back down like they have in the past and like just dwindle out. I will say, they could have done been better because let's be real, we seen Newcastle put 8 on Sheffield, literally just at home this past weekend. So again, there is that factor to it. But again, wins are wins. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. So again, they're still on a roll, nonetheless.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's really all we need to say about this game. But Ange Postecoglou, I think has done a phenomenal job so far, and I think that I think he's going to be Spurs boss for a bit. I early like
Yeah.
obviously it's only 6 games in, but if this team keeps playing the way that they have been, then I don't see any reason why Tottenham won't do really well and potentially compete for even a title. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
Um,
he's really proven me wrong, I will say. Like I was kind of talking down on him because he's literally coming from being, in the Scottish League with Celtic. I know he's done wonders there, but like, it's the Scottish League and then coming into the Premier League like that with a team like Spurs, it's unreal what he's actually been able to achieve so far.
Spurs and no-name managers are a match made in heaven, and I made that point a few weeks ago, and that point so far is staying true. Again, when they brought Poch in, he was a no-name manager. I mean, he coached Southampton, but he wasn't the big name he is now. But Angela's looking like the same. But speaking of Poch, we're going to talk about some Chelsea.
There
Oh,
we go.
dear God, they lost again. They have one win in 6. They couldn't beat Aston Villa. Ollie Watkins making Robert Sanchez's legs look like spaghetti. Puts it right through them. Aston Villa win 1-0. Malo Gusto gets sent off. They fail to beat Bournemouth away. They have one win in 6 games, which that one win was against lowly Luton Town.
Oh yeah.
They can't beat anybody. This team is horrible. I just don't get it. Like, Pochettino's a good coach, and they still can't put together a good performance.
But wait, Grayson, you're missing one point. They won the Caicedo battle though. Isn't that not all that matters? Outbidding. Come on now.
At this point,
That's
I'll
all they
take
were
Endo.
flexing.
I'll take Endo.
Yeah, I know exactly. Like they were flexing absolutely. Being like, yeah, haha, take that, Liverpool. We're gonna be back now and flipping. We'll be
Nope.
competing for titles galore. All
At this
that,
point,
yada
they'll be
yada
lucky
yada.
if they're not flipping burgers at the end of the season at
Yeah,
McDonald's because they've been abysmal.
yeah. Caicedo hasn't even really done nothing so far. He has done
Oh, he's been terrible.
absolutely nothing with that team. Like I didn't even get to watch some of the game, but like yeah, he did play in fairness, but like I wouldn't have even known because he absolutely ghosted.
Yeah, no, he did, and the whole team did. I mean, Sanchez made a few good saves, but that goal was really bad. And hopefully, former New England Revolution goalkeeper George Petrovic starts to start for them because, well, Sanchez has he's looked good, but that goal was really bad. If he concedes another one like it, could be a change there. But yeah, I mean, Chelsea have been horrible again. Like young Kip has been fuming, which for anyone, any neutral viewer is just absolutely hilarious. And yeah, they're in 14th right now.
But he's
Everton
bagged Astrid.
is Everton is becoming within reach of them.
Yeah, like they actually could be going down if they keep this trend, and if
Yeah,
somehow Everton can bag another point.
if the
That's
bottom
actually
three
unreal.
if the bottom three weren't as bad as they have been so far this
Yeah,
year, there'd be a legit
they could
claim.
be
But they've just
relegated.
been horrible. Chelsea could finish 15th right now. Like I'm not even going to put it past them if they keep playing this way.
Gusto also got a red card as well.
He
If you
did,
didn't
yeah,
catch,
Malagusto,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, we forgot to talk about that as well.
I
So
briefly
again,
mentioned it, but yeah, that was a bad tackle. It was a red. Like studs were up. It was like basically stationary. Like it was just not a good challenge.
foolish, absolutely foolish. And now I just want to add one more thing now because we're starting to get into that long run of fixtures for Chelsea. They will face Fulham this Monday to this recording right now.
Who beat them
Ne
twice last year?
Yeah, exactly. That's good addition to that. Then they do play Burnley. They should be able to at least get a point. Oh my goodness, if they don't get a point from that, good lord. And then they get absolutely walloped from there on out because they have Arsenal, Brentford, Tottenham, Man City, Newcastle, Brighton, Man United, Everton, and then yeah, that's really it. I only added Everton just because, they could be looking to get a point there as well because they've done
Dyche
it, I believe, last year.
Dyche has had a lot of surprises before, and honestly, if Everton play the way they did against Brentford, there's a chance. There's an absolutely a chance. And as for Chelsea, they're just bad. Just bad. They're not good. They're probably not going to win many of those games. I don't see
17th
it.
by Christmas.
They're
17th
definitely not beating
Christmas.
City. There's no way they're not going to beat Newcastle. I mean, they might not even beat Fulham. But moving on from their embarrassing form to another team that has been a bit mixed, and that is Manchester United. They lost to Brighton last week, which in the modern day, there's no shame in that because Brighton are a good team, but it was at home, so that would hurt a bit. Um,
Yeah.
Matoma looking good again, Estupinian looking great again. And then they were able to pick up a win against Burnley away. Johnny Evans with an absolute peach of a pass right under the foot of Bruno Fernandes. Beautiful volley into the bottom corner, did get the win. Burnley did have some good play in this game, though. They absolutely had chances to tie it. They didn't, but overall, they did play pretty well. But yeah, Man U, there's a lot of concerns going on there. Obviously, the big story with them right now is Jadon Sancho, and the whole situation between him and Ten Hag. It looks really ugly on both sides. I think Sancho is playing the victim card, and does he have it to a little bit? Maybe, but at the end of the day, I think he just should apologize and just suck it up. Just put your ego aside, Jaden. You're a good player, but let's be honest, man. You've been horrible for United since you've signed there. So yeah, Ten Hag, I don't think has handled it well either, but it's definitely the tough situation for them.
Yeah, just I'll add to that really quickly. Just Ten Hag is just I don't want to say it's Ten Hag's fault, but he hasn't really proved like that he's made any massive changes to when he came into the club, obviously. They did win the League Cup, obviously, there, but it appears to be just upper management just poorly ran. I don't know what's going on there, really, if it's the chair or if you don't really want to blame the Glazers. But again, nothing has changed. Even then, to this performance, only winning 1-0, it's a bit disappointing. It's kind of shocking in a way. Like they should at least be winning this game 3-0, 3-1 or something like the other clubs have been. Just I don't really know where United goes from here, in fairness.
Hard to say. And I've been talking a lot with one of my friends who's a United fan, and she's kind of uttered a lot of concern. She's been very much supportive of the team, but I do think that yeah. I mean, they're in a tougher spot. Um, their transfers in recent memory haven't been good, and then there's the whole Anthony ordeal as well, which I don't really want to go too deep into that, but
Yeah.
um, it's that's not a good look either. I mean,
No.
this is the second time that something like that has happened within the last few years. So that's a problem also staying in the club. So we'll see what happens for them. But yeah, right now not great, but they did get the win over Burnley. So yeah. But our final game we're going to talk about today is Everton beating Brentford 3-1, a game that made you very unhappy. I thought
Yeah.
it was funny, watching that, but honestly, they played really well. Everton was the better team for most of this game. Abdoulaye Doucouré gets an early goal. Brentford are able to equalize, but then Calvert-Lewin seals the winner, and for the life of me, can't remember who scored their second goal.
Tarkowski.
Tarkovsky, that's right. Off a set piece. But yeah, uh, good win for Everton, and they are now out of the relegation zone.
I mean, look, fair play to them. Like, can't really be bitter about this. They did what they needed to do. They actually played a bit of proper ball. I mean, like again, Decorwe, he's always come up in big moments for Everton, and he shows it again why he gets his time at that club because he really saved them last year. Again, he scored the game winner against Bournemouth, which basically kept them up. So again, he's a big time player. He did his thing today, and then looks like Dominic Calvert-Lewin is finally finding a bit more form again because he's been missing for a little while, I will say.
Yeah, I mean he's been easily one of their best players since he's really gone there. I mean, he has been absolutely phenomenal since going there, and he is a big time player. He's a good baller, like just plain and simple. Without him, I don't know where they'd be. He is easily, I think, their most important guy, maybe outside of Calvert Lewin and Pickford. Um, Even though they haven't been great, Pickford has always come up in big moments for them. And Calvert Lewin, I mean, when he plays, they're a different team. I think that they'll eventually potentially move to a strike partnership between him and Beto. Beto hasn't really hit the ground running yet, but I think he can. He's shown some flashes, and that could be a potential strike partnership going forward. They did a like for like swap as a substitution in this game, which worked out as GCL did score their final goal. But yeah, I mean they looked really good, and they got a win over, let's be honest, a decent Brentford team, even without Ivan
Yeah,
Toney.
again, I will say Everton did play much better, but at the same time, Brentford were just shocking at some points. Like
Yeah,
giving away that first goal though, just like again off a set piece, just poxy,
yeah,
poxy.
fair enough. But that'll do it for the Prem this week. We'll move on to a couple of games from La Liga. The first big one being the Madrid derby. It did happen, and this could have title implications as Atletico did beat Real 3-1, unfortunately. I didn't watch the game, but Real did have trouble in this one, clearly. And their offense was pretty stagnant. So not a good win, not a good game for them, and one that I think they'll take away from and learn a bunch on.
Yeah, I mean, it's bound to happen. It's Real's first big loss of the season. They should bounce back, They've been on a roll anyway. You're always gonna have that one-off game. However, they are gonna need to, bounce back now because Barca are top of the table. Although they do have a game in hand.
And Barcelona did just draw today 2-2 against Mallorca. They did drop points there. Unfortunately, it is another game without a goal from Canadian striker Kyle Larin. But yeah, Barcelona also were down 2-0 against Celta Vigo over the weekend, and then they managed to blow it. By that, I mean Celta Vigo. Barcelona did win the game 3-2. Lewandowski did score in that game, and the winner was by Joao Cancelo. Which the reason we're talking about this is the post game interview with Joao Cancelo. This became an instant meme. But what is his face doing in that, man? Like, what was he thinking? Like, why did he adjust his face like that? Like, I've adjusted. Like, I get it. Your eyes sometimes get like baggy and stuff, and you have to like, kind of like adjust here and there. But
Yeah.
he looked like straight. He looked like he was like Portuguese Dracula. Like he came straight from Transylvania with that face. Like, it's become an instant GIF and an instant meme. Like,
Yeah, everybody's using it now.
what was he
Madness.
thinking? Why would he do that? Like,
I can't even do it.
he looked
Like,
like he got possessed by a ghost. Like
well, he
probably the
was
ghost of
ghosting out there.
Dracula. Like
I was gonna say the ghost of Cancelo because he's been ghosting.
yeah. Well, I mean, he didn't in that game because he scored, but like, yeah, it
Yeah.
was like Pep Guardiola's like just figure just appeared over him and just possessed him for a second there. Like, what happened? I don't know, but that was one of the funniest things I've seen over the weekend. I mean, that was hilarious. That face was something else, man.
Yeah, I guess you could say that's probably the highlight of Barcelona season.
Oh, easily. But moving on from that, to the Bundesliga. We have one game to talk about. I did watch this one all the way through. It was Bayer Leverkusen against Bayern Munich. They are tied at the top of the table, and they tied this game. Early goal from Bayern, but then it was a phenomenal free kick from Grimaldo. The early goal from Bayern was Harry Kane, but Alejandro Grimaldo, left back, formerly of Benfica, did score an absolute worldie of a free kick in this one. Bayern did score late. I believe it was Goretzka. And then a late penalty conceded by, unfortunately, it was Alphonso Davies. And a late penalty converted by Ezekiel Palacios did give Leverkusen the draw in the Allianz. And honestly, this team, coached by Xabi Alonso,
I
is
know, right?
phenomenal. They're
My
so good.
man.
They are
My man.
phenomenal. And I think that there is a legitimate case with the work that he's done so far in Germany that Xabi Alonso is the next Real Madrid manager. I don't think it's an unrealistic case. Ancelotti's already basically confirmed he's
Going off to
leaving next
Brazil,
season.
yeah.
Yeah, going to coach Brazil. Xabi Alonso, I mean, that's a future coach, potentially for Madrid, potentially for Liverpool, depending on how that goes. I mean, he played for both teams. I think that Xabi Alonso is the next great manager, especially if he's able to keep this form going this whole season and potentially nick a title
Win the
away from
league.
Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Win the league. Wouldn't put it past them at all. Like they're on brilliant form. Like
yeah,
they have not missed a beat so far, picking off where they left off last season.
yeah. He took a team that was facing potential relegation to tied with Bayern Munich. I mean, that's impressive. That is extremely impressive, and a Europa qualification. But
Right.
moving on from Germany to the UEFA Champions League, it is back. The theme song has made everyone happy that it is back, and I was happy. I was scared early on because Red Star Belgrade gave me a heart attack, but Man City did get the win. They won the game 3-1. A bit of a nervy performance, but in the end of the day, they win at home usually, and it was a very convincing performance at the Etihad.
Yeah, th- this is what City does, Sometimes they may have a bit of a blunder, but then they just come roaring back again. There's not much more I could just say. Like we both knew at halftime that they'd end up coming back, and they did.
Yeah, absolutely, I did. But the other game that left it, there was a game that left it very late, and that is Madrid. Jude Bellingham scoring in second half stoppage time to get them the 1-0 win in that game. Really a team that they should have beat. I forget who it was. I mean, that kind of
It
just says it.
was it was Union Berlin.
It was Union Berlin. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's not a bad outfit, don't get me wrong, but they're Leonardo Bonucci played his socks off. I think the moment they subbed him off in the 80th minute, like that spelled the end, I think, for them. They just couldn't really defend that well after, and Bellingham with the late goal gets all 3 points.
Yeah, really hard luck for Union. They did show a bit of fight, and they could again end up maybe somehow getting out of this group if they keep playing. They just need to be better up front, I'd say. And, not let teams try and I guess take the game to them because they didn't have a lot of possession. They just let Real Madrid keep coming at them and coming at them, and again, eventually, that's what happens. Jude comes and strikes it.
Pretty much. Yeah, he's been their best player easily. But yeah, moving on from that one to Manchester United against Bayern Munich. This was easily the game of the week. A lot of people thought Bayern were going to win like 4-0, myself included. They
Yep.
did score four, but United managed to score three. Bayern had the better of the play for a lot of this game. United just looked lackluster for parts, but they did put up some fight. And, all credit to them. They did score three. I mean, Casemiro had two of them. Rasmus Højlund getting the other one. And United took it to Bayern, but at the end of the day, they just couldn't get it done. Bayern did win the game 4-3.
Yeah, Onana had that stinker as well. You got to mention that too. Just
Yeah.
he should be saving
The
that.
first goal went right through him. That was bad.
Yeah, you've been hearing talks about, some United fans saying how now they missed De Gea all of a sudden, which says a lot, let me tell you. Oh
Yeah.
boy.
I will give Onana this though. The fact that he had the balls to do the post game interview after making a mistake like that, and he asked to do it. And then he just basically just said like the team lost because of my errors. My start at United hasn't been very good. I look to improve. Like I respect that. Like I have a
Yeah.
huge respect for him coming out and saying that because a lot of players, when they make a crucial error like that, would just try to forget about it and just not avoid the media at all costs. He didn't. He did the complete opposite. Um, and my friend who's a United fan also basically said like the same thing. Like super happy that he did that. There's a huge level of respect there. I think the fans have a reason to stay with him on this. I do think he'll get better. I do think he will be that guy for United. I thought it was a good transfer, but sometimes it just takes time to adjust to a new system. And next season, if he's making the same errors, then there might be a problem. But for now, I think the fans should just stand by him and do everything they can to have his back.
Look again. If he finds better form, then United should be able to pick up some more results because, like, they did defy expectations. They did put up some kind of a fight with Bayern. Like, I was really not expecting them to, go ahead and score three. I will say that last goal, like, it was 90 plus five. It was pretty much the game was over. But, again, they still fought to the very end. So, they did catch a lot of people off guard.
Yeah, for sure. But a lot of positives to take away from that game. They did obviously take it into the weekend and beat Burnley. So overall, not a bad day for them. But we got three more games to talk about. The first is PSG did confidently beat Borussia Dortmund, Mbappe scoring a penalty and Hakimi scoring the other one. I don't really think there's much to talk about there. PSG were just a better team. Dortmund weren't in it at all.
Yeah, well, apart from like, their start off in the league, they've seemingly, not been too affected by, both Neymar and Messi's absence. So, fair play to them. I guess they've finally found something, that can, carry them forward.
Yeah,
Hopefully
for sure.
they will get out of this group.
Yeah, I think they will. I had them first. But yeah, other than that, there's two more games. The first is Barcelona dismantling Antwerp 5-0. I really feel bad for the Belgians here. They got just walked off the park. 5-0 for Barcelona. Just a terrible day for Antwerp. And Barca, I mean, they played every inch. Joao Felix looked fantastic as well.
Yeah, they got a harsh welcome back to Champions League, especially after, winning their league in dramatic fashion last season.
Yeah,
This is a
Alderweireld scoring that late one.
Yeah, and then just, having this massive, massive reality check on where you actually still stand now in all of Europe. That's a hard pill to swallow, I will say.
Yeah, apologies for the sound there. My cords were being loud, but yeah, the last game we have to talk about today for the UCL is Lazio against Atletico Madrid. And the reason that we're talking about this one, obviously, two big teams facing each other, the two teams we had first and second in the group.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Lazio's goalkeeper Ivan Provedel scored a late 95th minute equalizer, and that was just insane. I mean, anytime a goalkeeper scores, it's a monumental occasion. Unless you're in
Unreal.
Mexico, and it's that guy that takes all those penalties. But um, yeah, I mean, Providel scores a late equalizer, phenomenal result for Lazio, and kudos to them for you know doing it in that fashion.
Yeah, just that is pure limbs again. Like it's very rare when a goalkeeper does score, especially in a clutch moment like that. I will say though, I have seen it before myself on my own team, not to brag and all that, but
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
it's still a brilliant sight to see, and not even to mention it being against Atletico, who just parked the bus with Simeone's tactics.
yep.
It even makes it a bit more sweet.
Couldn't have happened to a better team. Yeah, but that was an absolutely phenomenal play, and I'm happy for Lazio and Providel especially. But
Fair
yeah, we
play
got
to him.
we got two games in the Europa League to talk about. The first is, of course, your team, Liverpool, did
Yeah.
manage to win. They were down 1-0 in this game. Liverpool playing from behind and winning 3-1. As we said earlier, that's kind of their thing. Um, but yeah, good result for them, and they're able to get it done.
Yeah, no, played fairly well in the second half, I will say. I will say probably the reason why we kind of just started off slow was that, we had to rotate a lot of players. Like again, it was a full turnover from the previous game against Wolves. We were trying to give some game time. Gravenberch got some game time. I'm trying to think who else as well. Oh yeah, Ben Doak was the one that I was trying to say. Yeah, he got some playing time.
By
So
Chetic as well.
yeah, Betajek also got some game time. Simicast as well. Endo got a start as well. So again, Klopp was just trying to, get them all in for some game time. But then once things started to get serious, because Lask did score that rasper, we then meant business. And Salah and Diaz and Nunes all got their goals. So happy days there. Top of the
Yep.
table, I'll take it.
Happy days for Liverpool, not happy days for Brighton. They had AEK Athens come into their venue and win.
Welcome to
Brighton
Europe.
Brighton had two penalties given to them. Joao Pedro did score both, but overall, just terrible performance. Even former Everton and Monaco fullback Jibril Sidibe scored. He hadn't scored in 6 years before that. Um,
Wow.
it was a beautiful header on the first goal, but that he scored. But yeah, when that guy's scoring against you, you have problems. And they were just played out of the park. And yeah, not a good day for Brighton.
No, again, what can I say? Welcome to Europe, Brighton. You know,
Yeah,
welcome. Just really unreal. I did not expect this at all. I really thought, that they would be able to come back, but no, just didn't have it in them today. Just
poor.
maybe the next game they'll be able to pick it back up, especially with their current form in the Premier League. This is a shock to lose to Athens. No.
Yeah.
Don't know what else to say really about that.
Not much on my end either. So we'll move on to the just one random game in the EFL Cup, and that is the fact that Reading, who were absolutely abysmal in the championship last year, had a 9-0 win. We talked about the 8-0 win against Sheffield United earlier. Reading did it to another League One team as well. And yeah, that's really all I got to say. It's just a 9-0 win. And then what do they do after that EFL Cup game? They lose. Typical Reading. But yeah, just a crazy game in the EFL Cup.
Uh, actually, now that I think about it, this is actually really crazy to me because in the EFL Cup, Exeter City were the ones to lose to Reading, and they played Luton
They're in a much
today.
higher place in the championship in the League One, excuse me.
Yeah, but like Luton lost to Exeter City, and that was the team which lost to Reading. So that's just madness to me. Fun fact.
That is insanity. It's crazy. 9-0. Like, wow.
And then beating
Um
Luton.
yeah, the team that beat Luton lost 9-0 to Reading, who are not good. Reading is not a good team. Like
No, absolutely not.
they have financial problems up the wazoo, and they're winning 9-0, and then they lose 4-1 to Blackpool the next week. Like, how does that happen? Like, what are you doing?
Vibes.
That's like if
Vibes.
Newcastle loses next week. Like, what are you doing? Like, anyways, moving on from that to probably the biggest story of the week and of just recently. Like, this just happened.
Yikes.
This is being recorded Tuesday night. But Tuesday night, September 26th. Napoli and Victor Osimhen is a big story right now. Uh, Fabrizio Romano posted the video, and it's basically a video with this really high pitched voice, and filming him saying, give me penalty." Um, and well, let's just say Osimhen's reaction couldn't have been worse. He is absolutely furious with it. This could have legal implications. Like
Yeah.
he's threatening to sue potentially. Um, and there could not be a worse way to just, like, for lack of a better term, piss off your star player. Why would you do this if you're Napoli? Do I think the video was that bad? I mean, it was annoying, but no, I don't think it was
It's
the worst thing I've
funny.
ever seen. It's yeah, it's dumb, but it's kind of funny. Do I understand the reaction to it? Yeah, I kind of do. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't. There's not a worse way to just annoy your team star player. Like, why would you do this if you're Napoli? Are you that stupid? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's really unorthodox. Like you always see some of the football accounts, they just like to make a lot of banter about, like, the current games that they play, say they like to mock the other team and whatnot. That's normal. I've seen that plenty of times. I've seen Brentford do it. I've seen Zenit do it. You name it. But to banter your own team, your own player in the way that you did it with that sound and all that, it doesn't make sense to me, especially since what that player managed to achieve with your club in just the last season, winning your first league title since Maradona in the 90s. Like what makes no
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. No, that's where I am too. I mean, he's the best player at the team. It's undoubtedly so. Like, is Kivara really good as well? Yeah. But where would Napoli be if Victor Osimhen was not in this team? He is their talisman. He's their own version of Erling Haaland. Like, he's one of the best strikers in the world. I mean, he's easily top 10 in my opinion after last season. I mean, he's phenomenal. In Nigeria, I mean, Nigeria's got some strikers coming up. I mean, Taiwo Awoniyi as well. And Victor Boniface. Like, Nigeria's got some dudes. They've got some strikers, but that point aside, why would you do this if you're Napoli? Why would you make a video like that? You don't see Man City, Liverpool, like Bayern Munich, name a team. You don't see them making a video like that where
That
it's just
really
this
that
high pitched voice. Imagine if Cristiano Ronaldo was on the receiving end of that. How do you think he would react? He'd immediately leave whatever team that is. He would just cancel the contract. Doesn't matter how much he's being paid.
Yeah.
Like, if Al Nasser made a video like that, I mean, he'd
He'd go
leave.
tell Pierce Morgan again.
Yeah, he would go. He would fly over to the UK. Like, they could have a game tomorrow, and he would still fly over to the UK,
Yeah.
go rant to Piers, force his way out of Al Nasser, and probably go to like MLS, even though he's spoken down on MLS. But
Mm,
like, imagine if Miami made a video like that of Messi. Why would they do that? It's mind
that
boggling
would
to
never
me.
happen.
Like, again, do I think the video was that bad? No,
Oh, it's a goofy video, but
but you don't do
it's
it.
it's it's unorthodox that like your own admin would make something about your player in like
Exactly.
that shape and form.
It's
Like
the fact that
who
it
does that?
came. It's the fact that it came from Napoli's own page, and because it came from Napoli's own page, that's where he has every right to take offense to it.
Too
Um,
right.
and with that happening, it's an absolute disaster. I mean, you just don't want to see that if you're a Napoli fan. Watching your team just shoot itself in the foot, and yeah, I mean, it's just a bad look, frankly.
Just how to ruin team chemistry and the locker room 101.
Yeah. Like, social media obviously plays a big part, but I think teams like City have done it really well. Like the Kyle Walker contract extension announcement, that video was perfect. Like, where he's
Class.
like, I'm not leaving, I'm not leaving, I'm not
Yeah.
leaving. Like, and then it just goes into this whole thing. Like, that was great. I think that was a perfect example of how to do it. This wasn't. This was everything wrong with social media and football is for every good post there is a bad post, and Osimhen was on the receiving end of an unfortunate bad post, and yeah, where he will end up after the next few games, we will see. But I think that this may have just cemented that he's potentially going to leave in January.
Mm.
Um, I would have said Man U if they hadn't signed Hoyland would be the top target for him, but um, despite being crap, I think he might go to Chelsea. They need a striker the most. Nicholas Jackson has more yellow cards than
Striker curse.
goals. They do have a striker curse, but they need a striker. They always need a striker. They haven't had a good striker since Diego Costa. Like, I do think that Chelsea could be a legit destination for him. Um, or if not Chelsea, there's teams. I'm sure I just can't really think of many right
Yeah,
now,
I
but
can't think of
there's
any either right now, in
there's
all
teams. I
fairness.
mean, if you wanted to go to a Napoli-sized team, maybe West Ham. Um, if Richarlison's ineffective, maybe Tottenham.
Yeah, maybe Tottenham. I was thinking of
Tottenham could
that
be a
one
Tottenham
maybe.
could be a shout. That's just the Premier League, though. I mean, obviously Bayern Munich got their man in Harry Kane. I do think
Yeah.
that Real Madrid is an option too.
I couldn't say that now.
They don't have a striker. I mean, obviously they might still be on their Mbappe holdout, but Madrid doesn't have a striker. Madrid's striker right now is Joselu.
Well, yeah, I know that, but like they could see. I'd have to hear more news about that though, in all fairness.
I would
Because
too.
again,
Like I'm just frankly throwing out teams right now,
yeah.
but I think Real Madrid is a reasonable team for Osimhen to go to. I mean, they
Yeah,
again
it is a good
they have
shout.
no striker. They don't have a striker. Like they need a striker. Barcelona obviously not. They won their broke too. Lewandowski's there. Atletico Madrid has Griezmann kind of still playing there in that role, but also I believe Correa. But uh, yeah, I mean there's options for Victor if he decides to leave Napoli. I don't think he'd stay in Serie A. Um, Inter has a striker. He wouldn't go. I don't think he'd go to AC Milan. I don't think he'd go to Juventus, and they have Vlahovic anyway. I don't see Serie A for him. I see his next move being either to the Prem or maybe Madrid.
Yeah, I guess that is a fair shout. We'll have to see eventually down the line, come the new year. We're still a good bit away from that.
We are, and we'll
Yeah.
see if he is able to resolve something with Napoli. But I think this basically just cemented his exit, whether it's January, where right now I'd say it's where he's going to leave, or next summer, depending. But I think that's really all I need to say about this story.
The one thing I will just say to end this is we will know for sure who is exiting Napoli, and that is the admin who posted that video.
Oh, they're done. They're done. Like they are finished. I mean, finished with a capital F. They're screwed. They're losing their job. They're probably going to lose their job on the spot. Like you managed to trigger your team's best player. Like good job. Good freaking job. Napoli social media admin. You're done. Maybe maybe
Yeah.
we'll maybe we'll get lucky and they'll go to Barcelona and mess that up. But we'll see. We will see. I would love that if that happened, but we will see. I doubt they'll ever work in the social media industry again. They're probably gonna have to post their own videos. We'll see. But I can tell you this much: they ain't working for Napoli anymore, as you said.
Yeah, he was either smoking that good stuff when he was on his phone or he forgot to post it on his burner. One of those two.
Clearly, yeah. But that ending with that'll do it for us this week. We talked a lot about the Premier League over the last couple of weeks, as there were a lot of big matchups. We covered a little bit of the Liga, a little bit of the Bundesliga, a bit of the UCL as well. Some big matches being played there. We briefly talked about Reading and then ended it up with the Victor Osimhen catastrophe, for lack of a better term. Let's be honest here. As always, this week I am Grayson Mortimer,
And I'm Evan McGuire.
and we will see you next time.